Yours?
No.
Yeah, I think I saw. Let's see.
Whatever. Good. Call this meeting to order. The Effingham County Planning Board meeting, January 18th, 2023. Now in session, I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. We're going to begin this meeting with a word of prayer. We're going to follow the prayer with the Pledge of Allegiance. And we'd like to ask that everyone who can, please stand with us for both. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we just praise you for this time. We can come together and discuss these important issues of Effingham County. We just ask you would be with us through this meeting. Lord, that your will be done. Just give us all safe travel home tonight. And we just lift up and praise our soldiers that keep us safe every day. In Jesus' name,
Yes.
amen.
Amen.
We pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our agenda. Are there any items that need to be added or deleted?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Items number 10 and 11 have been postponed at the request of the applicants.
Is that the only two changes?
Yes.
So that's Tanishala Kelly, items 10 and 11 to be postponed. Call for a motion to approve this agenda.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, all's in favor, approval? Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Minutes from December 19th, any corrections or additions to those minutes?
The only thing I had was a clarification on the item, but the page 6 where it's, Mr. Thompson suggested the applicant get a wetlands permit and clarify the applicant must maintain 50-foot minimum buffer. I think the discussion was just about whether or not they would have to have a wetland permit. I just want to clarify, I'm not saying they've got to have a wetland permit by any means if they choose to pursue that. I just wanted to, so that's not for me to say one way or the other, so just clarify that.
All right, any additional comments? Call for a motion to approve these minutes.
Make a motion to approve as amended.
Motion for approval, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Higgins, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried by all. All items presented tonight will be heard again at our Board of Commissioners meeting. That meeting is also a public hearing. It will also be in this room. Items that are approved as well as denied will move forward to the County Commissioners. I'd like to ask that everyone who wishes to speak tonight, when the item is called, that you would come forward and sign your name as well as state your name for the record. Is there anything further, Ms. Dunnigan?
Nope.
Item number 1 is a public hearing for Skylar Lewis, his agent for Scott A. Lewis. Request to rezone 1 of 10 acres from AR1 to AR2 to allow for the creation of a home site. It's located off Sand Hill Road. This is the 1st district. Ms. Dunnigan?
Yes, the applicant wishes to create a 1-acre home site because that does not meet the 5-acre minimum for AR1. It has to be rezoned to AR2. This home site is for a family member. Staff is recommending approval.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Questions, comments at this time? Is there anyone who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? There's nothing from the board. I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with staff recommendations.
Have a motion for approval. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Item 2 is a public hearing for Heather Bataillus. Requests a conditional use for a residential business located at 108 5th Street, zoned AR1. This is the 1st district. Ms. Dunnigan.
The applicant wishes to establish a part-time, small-scale dog grooming operation because that does involve customers coming on and off-site for drop-off. It was not suitable for a regular home occupation business license. She is in good standing currently with the Department of Agriculture from her grooming business, which was previously at a commercial site. Should be minimal to no impact on the surrounding area, and the business and the site meet all the criteria for a residential business.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Questions, comments at this time? Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? Yes, sir.
My name is Kenny Lane. I'm the next door neighbor to Miss Heather. I have no objection to her doing what she's doing. My concern was the possibility of rezoning this. I thought that's probably what she was after. But since she's not doing that, another concern is the backyard is she has a 24 by 30 foot building and don't want that to be involved with dog kennels or anything like that later on. And she tells me that it's going to be primarily in the house. And other than that, I have no objection to it.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Do you have any comments you wish to make back to that?
Residential business is still confined to the primary dwelling, so it is not permitted in a secondary structure. And we spoke, Mr. Lane, and please, call me anytime.
Yeah, I will. Count on that.
So to clarify, it is limited to the structure, not the
Correct.
primary structure plus
Yes.
its yard. It's just the structure, so inside walls and under a roof. Okay,
For the residential business.
correct.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Is
Thank
there
you.
anyone else who wishes to speak? There's no discussion from the board. I'll call for a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second. All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. This is a residential business. It does not go to commissioners, correct?
That is correct, that's it.
All right, so it's done. Item 3 is a public hearing for Cynthia and Charles Drone. Request a variance to waive the restriction that a private unpaved road may only serve 3 lots located on 3154 Midland Road. This is on the R1 First District. Ms. Dunnigan.
In this case, the applicant has just over 5 acres, and they wish to cut out approximately an acre for home site. It is on a private unpaved road. We are recommending approval on this one based on the fact that this is zoned R1. It is not a major subdivision. It was zoned R1 for a golf course that never came to be. And alternate access is blocked by wetlands. So it would be difficult to find an alternative route.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Questions or comments from the board at this time?
How many lots access that private access easement to begin with?
Approximately 7 all told for Midland, and then the applicant's is the last lot in the back of the easement.
Okay.
One of the conditions that staff has added is that all impacted owners sign an easement maintenance agreement on the plat.
Can you say that again?
One of the conditions, in the conditions added by staff, we have that the plat must include an easement access and maintenance statement signed by all impacted property owners, and that no further subdivision of the property shall occur without improvements which bring the unpaved easement to county standards.
So does that mean everyone has to agree to this?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anyone who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? Further discussion? Call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with staff recommended.
Have a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Mr. Zipper, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Item 4 is a public hearing for Marina Lindblom. request of conditional use for a rural business located on 183 Deerfield Road West, zoned AR1. This is the first district. Ms. Dunnigan?
So this one involves a bit of a story. This application was originated as a code enforcement complaint. The business was being run under home occupation business license for 88 Keys with T. The applicants spoke with a member of staff who was here at that time and were told that they could umbrella the two businesses together, but no steps were taken to make that formal. Because Kinder Music does involve, of course, customers on site, it does not qualify for home occupation type license. They meet all criteria for a rural business, and also, as this is a Kinder Music program, it does serve a currently underserved need within the community. I had an opportunity to attend an HOA meeting recently and talk to the nice residents and neighbors of the applicant, some of whom are here, so they may wish to say something. Staff is recommending approval.
Thank you, Ms. Dunnigan. Questions or comments at this time? Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request?
Yes, sir. My name is Richard Dice. I'm the president of the Lakeside Association. That's the HOA we have for the neighborhood, and we're against it. We recently just found out about this. So, according with our covenants, okay, no business is supposed to be there. Number two, if the covenant wanted to override the covenants and allow the businesses, we haven't had time to even get it out to our people. There's 175 lots out there, or homes, and you know we're getting caught by a seat of our pants. They're already running a couple of businesses out there now that are, well, against our covenants primarily. I don't know if it's against any Effingham County rules or not. They have a showroom to where they're working on pianos and offering to sell them to the public. Then they have this teaching thing that they're doing. They're teaching music to kids, and I mean, that's all a great thing. I have no problem with that part of it. But it's causing a lot more traffic in the area. It's also, there are times where there's 10 to 15 cars parked out there. My understanding, if you have more than 5 or 6 kids in a teaching environment, that makes it a commercial establishment. If you have a showroom open to the public, where you're offering to rent and sell pianos and such things, that's another commercial establishment. This is the kind of business we don't want in our neighborhood. We don't want the additional traffic. And again, we haven't had a chance to really tell anybody to whether the rest of the neighborhood either cares or they don't. So we're kind of caught in the middle. What we were requesting was this be tabled so that what I need to do on my end, because I've just been asked to step back into the position I'm in, as well as to ask the questions of our neighborhood. Do you care? Do you not care? Do you want it gone? Whatever, and get their input back. Can't do that in 4 days. There's no way possible. And that was our main request on all that. Plus, like I said, they're running other businesses there that, in the opinion of the board, okay, should not be there. They're more of a commercial business. And that just destroys a residential neighborhood. I mean, we are, you know, we're not a closed neighborhood like some are, where you only got one way in and out, but we still would like to keep, you know, the traffic down some. We don't want a lot of, you know, unnecessary things going on. You know, there are still children all through the neighborhood, and we'd kind of like not for it to go. You got any questions?
Any questions right now?
I mean, I've had 48 hours to get prepared, so I'm really winging it as best I can.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, we hear your concerns, and we'll let some other people speak.
Anybody else?
Thank you, sir.
All right, this is Mr. Bart.
Hi, Bart Williams. Nice to meet you. I hope everybody had a good Christmas and New Year's, because we didn't. We listened to chainsaws and tractors all weekend, didn't we, John? All right, I'm kinda like Ricky. I didn't get this to the other day, but it says, each home occupation must be approved by the zoning administrator before any activities in connection with the occupation begins. He's been running this thing for 10.5 years with no permit, the right permit, none of that. He has done work on his home, he's built that building he's never got permits to do the right thing, but for some reason, a man that's graduated from college and is supposed to be so smart just can't do that. And then, as far as Katie goes, she had me send all this stuff to her, because she's gonna shut them down. Well, the next thing I know, she's over there advocating for them. And I don't understand why a person that works for the county of Effingham, code enforcement would be over there, fraternizing with somebody that she's threatened to shut down. Then all of a sudden, I mean, I emailed her, I sent her everything. She told me to, keep in contact. She never got back in touch with me on nothing, period. So I'm looking at all this stuff all the rules of Effingham County, for one thing, and the first 8 of them, they've already broke. I mean, it just don't make no sense. And rural, she wants a rural license. Rural is less than 500 people in a square mile. Vast, wide open countryside. Well, I live right next door to him. He thinks he's got 80 acres, but he's only got 8. But we got to deal with it every day. Every day. The cars, 2,400 plus cars more a year coming into our neighborhood just to go to his house. It doesn't make no sense. Would you want it next door to you? No. I don't think anybody would. And it's not that. It's not the school. It's not the lawnmowers. It's not the golf carts. It's all of it combined. He sells golf carts. He brings old raggedy lawnmowers in and works on them and sells them. He sells firewood. He sells wood slabs. And all this is in his backyard now. So if you want to go over there and see it, it's there. All of this is there. And I'm just saying, he's running 5 or 6 different businesses out of this house with not the first permit to do nothing. And like I said, when he built his building, he built that as a pole barn. Never got a license for that. I mean, never got a permit for that. He added on to his home, and I think he got in trouble for that because they had to come back out and do it after he was finished with it, from what I understand. But for somebody that has a blatant disrespect for the law and for the government of Effingham County, I don't see where he could be allowed to do anything, especially with a school that brings that many people into our neighborhood a year. 2,400 cars a year, just if he has 3 days a week, and not no night classes. But he has night classes, Saturday classes, whenever it's proper for him to do it, that's when he does it. And it's not like a business that shuts down on Friday afternoon, doesn't start back up till Monday. This is all the time, every day. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name's Robert Renfro. The main issue I have is we have a covenant, and now somebody wants to change it. So in the future, somebody else is going to want to change it for their benefit. I would love for it to be changed so I could benefit from it, but I've never asked that. I've always went by the covenants. So to me, the people in the community should be the ones changing it, because basically this is what they're asking to do, is to change the covenants. So I think we're going to be opening up a can of worms in this community, because there's going to be a lot of people up here before y'all wanting to do what they want to do on their land. I've got plenty of land that I could do a lot on, but I don't, because I stick by the covenants. And that's all I've got to say.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak?
My name is Marina Lindblom. I live at 183 Deerfield Road West. My husband and I own one business. We've been incorporated since 2002. It's called 88 Keys Piano, and we offer music services to our community. My husband is a piano technician, and he works on people's pianos in their homes, and occasionally he needs to bring parts to our house to work on in his shop. He sells pianos on occasion, maybe like 3 or 4 a year. We only take clients by appointment, one at a time. I teach kinder music classes, which are private and small group instructions, music instructions to parents and their children. They come together and experience the class together. We provide a benefit to our community for child development. There is a limit of 12 in our class. We never have more than 12 in a class. We have many siblings in our classes, and so we don't have that many cars on our property. The 10 to 15 is unverifiable. We have pictures that we have sent to the county on many occasions of a class going on, and there are not 10 to 15 cars on our property. Again, 12 at the most, because that's the limit by Kinder Music International. We are not a franchise. We are privately owned. We have been licensed since 2002. There is a lot of personal animosity between our neighbors and us, which we don't understand why. We do not know why such hostile feelings. It has never been our intentions to be enemies with any of our neighbors, and we are not enemies with any of our neighbors. But we have particular neighbors that have made it really difficult for us over the last few years, bringing in the sheriff and the police for many occasions.
So you're breaking the law.
The building that we built is 100% permitted. We followed every code. JP came over on several occasions and approved it. If anyone here knows JP, you know he was to the letter. He wouldn't let anything go that didn't need to go. We run one business on our property. I have 2 teenage boys that sell firewood on the side. Or they're not incorporated. They're 16 years old. Our neighbor has called the sheriff on us because my son ran a drone. He says that he ran it over his property. My son showed the video to the sheriff. The flight path was not anywhere on our neighbor's property. My husband uses lacquer on a piano. He called the sheriff, said we were hurting the environment. He called the EPA on us. My son built a small shed. We called the county, and they said that it did not have to have a permit because it was too small. Our neighbor called the police on us, said we were building a shed without a permit. We didn't have to because the county told us we didn't have to. He called the police and said we're running a business without a license. We've been licensed since 2002. We've been paying our homeowners association dues. We've been paying our business license. When the Effingham County representatives, Katie and Greg Wood, came over to our property based on our neighbors' complaints, we showed them every part of what we do, every single building. They said it met all the criteria. I said I was just getting ready to send in my business license, $100, and she said, wait a minute, hold on, let's make sure that you have the right license. It's not that we were unlicensed, we were just paying it to the wrong department. So she said, hold off, what you need is a rural license. So we're not applying for anything new, we're just redirecting it so that we can be in the right department. We do not have excessive traffic. We do not have excessive noise. At the Homeowners Association last week, we had several neighbors that spoke up, specifically ones that live across the street from us, saying that they have no complaints with what we're doing. It's very quiet, it's very peaceable. You have mothers and babies, fathers and babies coming in and experiencing a 40-minute music class. Our classes are staggered by 20 minutes so that there is never traffic at any time overlapping each other. We do run classes one Saturday a month. We do not run classes on Sundays. We run classes Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays mornings, and one Saturday class every month to offer music classes for spouses that can't come throughout the week. As far as the homeowners association not allowing businesses, the covenants have not been amended since 1969. We all know that the year 2020 changed our worlds. Working and having a business in your home in 1969 meant something totally different than it does today. We have no desire to be a nuisance to our neighbors, to our community at all. We live a quiet and peaceable life and run a quiet and peaceable business. The homeowners association made a motion that they approve our request. This was last week, to change it over to a rural license. One argument was that no businesses are allowed anywhere in our neighborhood. Again, these covenants have not been amended since 1969. Katie brought to the meeting a stack, I believe it was over 24 businesses that are being run in our neighborhood.
With no customers coming to their home.
Sir, I'm sorry, you can't speak from out there.
So there is not really a problem with just us. Apparently, if no businesses can be run in the neighborhood, then we need to address the other 23. There is not the significant traffic that is being mentioned. I ushered an open invitation to everyone at the Homeowners Association to come onto our property and experience the class and see what the traffic is like. I have plenty of pictures. I feel sad to say this, but unfortunately, our said neighbor is not allowed on our property because the sheriff has told him that if he comes on our property, he will be arrested because he used to come on our property and yell at my children and scream obscenities at them. My goal tonight is not to bring in something totally unrelated. I'm not trying to digress or talk about the animosity that is unfortunately there. But it does come into play because this is not 100% about my husband and I running one business with one federal tax ID number under our property. It is more about the dislike that our neighbor has towards us. Thank you.
Can you answer just one quick question? So
Yes, sir.
what did you say your days of the week are?
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we run music classes for babies and toddlers together with their parents. A class at 10 to 10:40. Traffic is gone by about 10:45. The next class comes in at 11 to 11:40. If you know anything about parents with young babies, they don't come early, they come at the last minute. So there is not overlapping traffic.
So you have up to 12 in each class?
12 is the maximum. Most of our classes run between 5 and 8. We also have siblings which come in the same car. I have plenty of pictures that I have sent in, and I'm willing to disclose those if anyone needs to see them again.
You said the HOA has approved your
They have made a
petition?
motion to approve. They have also, from my understanding, and I don't want to put words in the HOA's mouth, but from my understanding, they really want to revisit their covenants, which again have not been changed since 1969. Again, showing, more than 24 businesses in our neighborhood, one of which was actually my neighbor's several years ago. He owned a business in the neighborhood as well. So I feel like they are wanting to revisit the covenants, understanding that they may be a little bit dated. And again, our intentions are not to disrupt the neighborhood in any way. We do not want to bring excessive noise. What we do is private. It's all contained in a 20 by 20 room. It is not a daycare. We are fully licensed by Kinder Music International. We have been since 2002. There are 36 countries that offer Kinder Music classes. There's over 12,000 educators And we have been rated in the top 5% for the last 3 years. We're designated a top program. And I only say that to say that we want to do things by the books. We very, very much believe in what we do. We believe it provides a quiet, positive service for the community. And if some of our other neighbors were here, they would tell you that there's not a traffic problem. There's not a noise problem. The problem is the animosity.
Any further questions or comments at this time?
I think I got a couple for staff, and then it may relate, so you may just want to stay there for a second. The rural business itself, right? I just want to wrap my head around that. So I guess one, similar to the other that we just did, that it's going to stop with us. Is that stopping with us if we, or does this go then to the
This
county
will go
commission?
on, this needs approval from the Board of
I
Commissioners.
wanted to clarify what our role in that aspect of it was. And then from the standpoint of the fact that it is zoned our AR1, makes it qualify for rural business, because I can see the point of it is a rural neighborhood, right? It's not our typical what we might see when we see a zoning map for AR1.
Correct, it is AR1, it is more than 3 acres.
Yeah.
It serves a neighborhood need, it meets all the criteria for rural business.
And then, obviously, there is the need for this, this rural business permit. Walk me through the process of how we got here. They did have a business permit, but it was not, they still need that, but they didn't also have this rural business permit that we need to allow the use on the site.
The business license, they've been in good standing with the county with a business license for 88 Keys, which I guess was intended to be the umbrella, the incorporated entity, but the description of it simply says mobile piano tuning and repair.
Right, which is
So
different
that
than
does
what
not
we're-
encompass.
different than what we're
right,
talking about tonight.
right.
Okay. Oh, last question. For this, does it, notice requirements wise, like I've heard some time frame of what they've had to kind of put their thoughts together. I know variances and zonings have certain notice requirements that we have to submit. Just wanting to understand like what has been out, what was that process, just so I can wrap my head around that.
It goes through the same process where a letter sent out to 200-foot buffer. That's actually how I came to be at the meeting. I was approached by the HOA. Good questions, very good questions.
And I guess this is, so my stance on the covenants is the covenants are between the neighbors, that we don't have control over covenants. So we do have the consideration of this use, so I'll keep that in mind. I want to hear what the rest of the board thinks, but I know there was a lot of back and forth about the covenants that are between the neighbors, and that is just that. It's covenants between two groups of private people, does not involve us as the zoning authority. So
Yeah, they're not binding to the county. I mean, I guess they're legally binding, but there's
Between
more
them.
between them and I guess in the courts, I guess. But
May I just touch
Sure.
on the code enforcement aspect? Certainly, there was a very long list of complaints submitted under the one complaint. So much so that I did go out there with Officer Hood for a site visit. All of the reported infractions were proved to be unsubstantiated, with the exception of operating the Kinder Music without the proper license, which is why we're here today. As far as a showroom, I was given a full tour. There's no showroom. There is a private shop where pianos are worked on, which is fine.
thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak?
I'm James Payne. I'm just one of the neighbors in the neighborhood. The covenant's been out since 1969. We're approximately 175 lots out there. And this was filed with the county and owner about 1969. That was before my time moving out there, so I can't attest to when it was filed. But on item number 9, and I ain't gonna read the whole thing, I can, but it said not to be obnoxious or whatever, but I'm trying to cut through the BS, so to speak. No business of any kind whatsoever shall be conducted on said property. Okay, now what we're trying to do is set a precedence here. Okay, I know there's closet business. You may be working at home on a computer, you may be doing whatever, but if you put a sign out front, hey, I'm in business. Okay, your neighbor down the street, he's in business. I want to go in business. I can do that too. If you go on the internet and you advertise on the internet, now it says it's supposed to be a mobile business. He goes to your house and does the work. But he also, on the internet, I'll take your piano or wherever it is. Oh, that's just a, yeah, okay. Anyway, this is a part of the advertisement on the internet. It said our shop and showroom is located in Bloomingdale. Our technicians travel all over the coastal Georgia and South Carolina, specializing in all kinds of piano services, repairs. Please let us know how we can help. Contact us today. We're looking forward to making you a valuable client. I don't want to start a sign out front, I'm a business. Then the neighbor got a business. Over here you got a business. When you bought into the neighborhood, you're supposed to be buying into the rules of the neighborhood. We respect Effingham. We want Effingham to respect us. We're one of the oldest neighborhoods here. And everybody talks about the other covenants and stuff of the newer neighborhoods. They may have had a $50 lawyer, $100 lawyer write up a little bit fancier than what we did back in '69. But the basic rules is the same, no business. And if you want to change the covenants, then we gotta go around door to door to door and try to get a majority vote to change it. And that's time consuming, that ain't gonna happen. I agree that their intent may be to help the kids, I'm not arguing about that. But to commercialize, and from what I'm understanding, it's a domino effect. Well, we're doing this, well, we can make money doing this. Well, let's do this too. Now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, how many different businesses are they running? I ain't trying to spy on my neighbor and see what he's doing. I just want to say that no businesses. And that's my point, sir. So again, we recognize the county recognized us. We followed this in '69, and I don't know, I can beat the dead horse to death, but I think you get the gist of it.
Sir.
I know we're busy, I know you got a lot to do, I'll make it quick. To rebuttal this, all right, if they want to change the covenants, all right, then by them at next month's meeting, we meet every second Tuesday of the month. If they want to bring it to us, that we may make some changes to this covenants for the future, fine. Again, like he was talking about, we've got to alert everybody. Not everybody's got email, Facebook, Twitter. I don't. And it's because I don't want one. But we will get with all the homeowners and take it to a vote, get input, and then we can change it. Now, we may take 6 months to a year to do so, because those things do take time. Now, back to the other thing about her saying there wasn't much traffic, and I'll gladly pass these around to y'all. There's some pictures of the traffic. And you got one where he's working on the piano.
Sir, I'm sorry, you can't, you're just gonna have to hand those off.
I'm just trying to give you some more.
Well, I mean, you can hand them and they can pass them down the line, but
Okay.
all conversation, you have to speak in, you have to speak in that microphone, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I'm sorry. But the point of it, they are running more than one business, and you can see evidence of the traffic. That's just the beginning of that. Granted, I mean, everybody can run a business from a house. Again, if as long as it stays inside the house, who knows? You got people that are coders for the hospitals. They run their businesses in there. They're not required to have a permit from y'all because they do everything online, they do it inside, and they're contracted that way. Those kind of businesses, A, we can't know about. B, they're not outside, they're not grand traffic, things like that. Again, if they want to in the future, we can try to get the covenants changed, that's fine. But right now, we got a covenant that we would like to keep intact. If y'all pass this, y'all are throwing our covenants away. And that's gonna hurt this neighborhood. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wish to speak? Yes, sir.
I'll make this brief myself. My name's John Lindblom, and that's my wife Marina that you heard from a few moments ago. And she's the one that, she and my daughter Libby, who's with us tonight, they are the ones that teach the kinder music classes. And I keep hearing my name getting batted around. I am a piano tuner. I'm a piano technician. I've been doing that for about 25 years. And yes, on occasion, I bring an instrument to my house and I work on it in my shop. And so whatever it's classified as, whatever name they want to call it, that's what I do. And I have a large clientele that I visit churches and nursing homes and private residences all over Effingham, Savannah, Bluffton. This really doesn't have anything to do with me, except I'm getting accused of a whole bunch of things by Mr. Dice, I guess, who actually is an electrician. And when I was looking for an electrician several years ago, I looked him up, and it said an electrician, an electrical service on Ziegler Road, which is in our subdivision. He's one of the business owners in our subdivision. So I would just, take any questions, like Marina said, the whole issue that I think this boils down to is more of a personal one, unfortunately, and it's something that we don't like. We've been threatened physically. My children have been threatened to be shot. We've had the sheriff over countless times to protect us. We've been threatened that we're gonna be beat up. My children have been very physically or very violently threatened, and it bothers us terribly. So they're out in the yard playing, and I don't know what's gonna happen. So if we wanna discuss traffic and people coming and going, that's a completely different issue that bugs us. But anyhow, I just wanted to make the record clear that that's what I do for a living, and we wanna make sure that we're doing the right thing as far as permit goes for this kinder music program that we've been doing for many years, and that's why we're here tonight. So if anybody has any questions for me, because like I said, I keep hearing my name brought up, I'm happy to answer any.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so everybody's had a chance, but if it's something new, I'll allow it briefly.
I just have a question. So now, if you commissioners allow this, you're basically kind of throwing our covenant away.
So as was said earlier, covenants that's a civil matter. That's written, that's between landowners, homeowners, and can be settled in the court system. This board, the county, has our ordinances that, does this check the box? Does it meet the rules? Does it meet the regulations of the zoning of Effingham County? And covenants are for the courts, unfortunately. Now, that doesn't mean to say that this board won't take into consideration what your covenants say, but we're not bound by your covenants.
I understand that. I don't have anything against these people. I really don't even know them. Yeah, I'm just concerned that, okay, we're just talking about a business license that deals with the covenant. What's next,
Right, I understand.
So I just wanted to see if y'all had an answer for that.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Libby Lindblom, and I am the daughter of John and Marina that you just heard from. And I just wanted to say that our business, which has been spoken about, is something that we have always had since we moved in here. In 2010, we moved to this neighborhood, and we have always had this business. We have had a license, which we thought was the right kind. We just recently found out it's not the right kind, so we're wanting to switch over. But we are not expanding, and we are not starting a new business in any way. So in answer to what the homeowners board keeps saying, that this might start a new precedence in our neighborhood, it won't start a new precedence because we've always been here, and our neighbors have known for 13 years that we've been here. And we are a small business. There is not a lot of traffic. That has something to do with animosity from our neighbors, which I can also testify to. We are not starting anything new, and 4 out of 7 days a week, our home does not look like a business at all. 3 mornings out of the week, we put up a temporary sign to allow, on average, about 8 cars over to our property, which are always parked in a neat and orderly manner. Just as if we have neighbors who have big birthday parties at their houses, have that many cars parked through their yard, we have no problem with it. We have other neighbors who have spoken and said they have no problem about our business at all. And it's peaceful, it's quiet, it's not a disturbance to the community. And once again, it's not anything new. So this would not start a new precedent in our neighborhood that might just open the floodgates to ruining the neighborhood, because we've always been here. I would also like to say, with respect to our community's covenants, that those were established, I guess, about 50 years ago. And to say that you can't run a business out of your home is basically shutting self-employed people out of the neighborhood, which doesn't work in 2023. I personally work for, my mom and I, we work on the music business together several mornings a week, and it's a benefit to the community. We teach children and babies music lessons. We have neighbors who are here in this room whom I teach their grandchild guitar lessons, and that's all part of the business. So if this were to be closed down, then basically you're shutting down all those aspects of us benefiting the community. So I would like to say that the rules, the covenants to our neighborhood are very outdated, and I would also like to say that we are not starting anything new. The only problem is that we have neighbors who hate us, and they have threatened to shoot us, and they scream profanity at us every single time they see us out in our yard. We are in the process of building a tall privacy fence because they do nothing but disturb our peace day and night. And we are nothing but a peaceable, large Christian family, and we run several home businesses out of our house because our parents have taught us to work hard and work for ourselves and benefit our community. And I would like to say that I think communities need families like that, and I'm thankful for my parents bringing us up that way. And we've done nothing but benefit our neighborhood.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, that was very nice, Libby, that you brought that up like that, and you have won my vote. I am gonna vote for. You guys are just trying to legitimize your license, and we've talked about the covenants and, you know, the problems that that's bringing up between the parties here, but we're here to see if that piece of property qualifies for a business license, and I think it does.
Anything further from the audience? I'll close public comment. Any discussion with the board? No?
I mean, I typically would want to hear what the adjacent, you know, neighbors say. I mean, if it is I understand traffic's minimal, but there is no doubt there are people coming to the residence for the business. I didn't know the number of cars, but I think I just jotted down 8 for each visit is what they typically have. I'll be honest, I'm a bit torn on this. We're going to see where it goes, because I can see that is a substantial number of cars coming to a business in an existing neighborhood.
No more than a birthday party.
No, but
I'm not making money. I mean, birthday parties is not a business, though. That is what we're discussing. And trust me, the benefit to the community, what was happening, this is just one of those challenging things where I just, you know, there's not a black and white answer. It's what we're here to listen to and try to understand all the challenges and issues, and you know, that's why I asked, does it stop here? If it stopped here tonight, the idea of tabling it, I thought was, you know, to give some additional time. The fact that it doesn't stop with us, that we're just the recommending body, and that the county commissioners will actually make the final decision, I'm you know, fine with moving on with a vote tonight, but I'm not making a motion.
I mean, I agree with your comments, and this is, I mean, this business, I mean, you can't help it if it doesn't tug on your heartstrings. I mean, it's a great thing for the community, but, you know, I do believe that there are rules, and, you know, I mean, I agree with you that I believe this is probably pushing the bounds of the rural business rules, unfortunately.
I agree, but my question is, why didn't this come up with business 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10? Why now at business 24? You know, so we got all these businesses allegedly that's operating in this community. So if we don't allow this business, do we go and shut all those businesses down?
That's a good point.
That no one's complained about over the years, over the last 50 years?
That's good.
So that's my take on it.
All right, if there's nothing further, I'll call for a motion. You want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with all staff recommendation.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, all's in favor of approval? Any opposed? Motion carries 4-1. This does go to the county commissioners. This is only a recommendation. You know, yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, good luck. Item 5 is a public hearing for Johnny E. Brannon, request to rezone 4.5 acres from AR1 to AR2 to allow for the creation of a home site located at 749 Keith Road. This is the 3rd district. Ms. Dunnigan?
Yes, the applicant wishes to create an additional home site by splitting 4.5 acres, basically in half. So to make those lots conform, it needs to be rezoned to AR2. Staff recommends approval.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Questions, comments at this time? Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? Call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with staff recommendations.
Motion for approval. Is there a second?
No, second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, which was the second?
Oh, I didn't second.
I did.
Ryan?
Okay, thank you.
Got it. Good.
I'm a big
Mr. Thompson.
Speak without moving my mouth.
Item 6, a public hearing for Robert Dollar and Joanne Mendoza Dollar, request to rezone 5 acres from AR1 to AR2 to allow for the creation of a home site located at 107 Harmony Drive. This is the 3rd district. Ms. Dunnigan?
Yes, the applicant wishes to subdivide a 1-acre parcel from existing approximately 5 acres. This particular parcel is within a major subdivision, Harmony Acres Phase 2. And at this time, no other parcels within the subdivision have been rezoned or subdivided. Staff is recommending denial on this one.
And why are you recommending no?
Staff is recommending denial because, let's see, section 6.6, re-subdivision, takes into consideration whether the size of the proposed lots is compatible. In this case, it is not. It's pretty uniformly, as you can see, 5-acre lots. Intended use of the property has been frustrated by changing economic conditions, exercise of eminent domain, or other circumstances. The subdivision has remained stable and unchanged. Because it's AR1, there is an allowance for a second dwelling for an immediate family member without subdividing. You know, we as staff can't really weigh in on whether or not this will adversely affect values of other property. So that is why we are recommending denial.
Gotcha.
Do you have any complaints on it at the office?
I believe this was a mini farm, originally a mini farm.
It was set up as a mini farm. There is some AR2 located directly near the property, but everything else for miles and miles is AR1 conforming.
Are those directly adjacent? Do they share a property line?
No, they do not share a property line. There's, this one is in between an AR1 buffer right there. And I apologize, miles and miles is an exaggeration.
Any further discussion?
Do they have a covenant or HOA?
Is there,
Couldn't say.
is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name's Robert Dollar. We're not trying to divide this up to break up the neighborhood. Basically trying to divide it up so that we can avoid a family feud down the road. my wife and I have our kids, and we want to divide it up and actually sell the 1 acre parcel to my cousin, who's a single mom. That way, when she goes on, she leaves something for her daughter, we leave something for our kids, and as we all know, when people move on, the ugliest of relatives comes out. And we just want to try to avoid that, where our kids have theirs, her daughter has hers. That's the only reason for wanting to do it. 2 brand-new houses will be a lot better than that half-burnt mobile home and 14-foot tall grass that was there when we bought it. And we're not putting mobile homes, not tiny houses, 2 brand-new built houses.
That will be built, that haven't been built.
Will be. We already have the permits for the one to begin, and depending on how this goes, we'll proceed forward with the second one.
Is there a reason why we're not just at least splitting it down the middle? Why are we going just 1
She don't wanna
acre?
do that much yard work. Leave it to me. I love you. That's just, she doesn't really want all that much land for her one daughter, and we have 3 kids between my wife and I, so just kind of what we decided on doing. No real particular reason. That's really about it.
And excuse me, Mr. Smith, the last declarative covenants were filed in October of 1992 and do not prohibit division of parcels.
All right. I did the same thing to buy a lot. That's why I was asking. I had 5 acre mini farm. So. Stop talking. What do y'all have me here for?
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? But yours not, this is not in your neighborhood, is it? Oh, this is in your neighborhood?
No, it's not
Oh.
in my neighborhood.
I got you.
I'm basically the same thing, that
Right.
5 acre mini farm.
All right, discussion from the board, questions, comments?
Are we rezoning the entire 5 acres?
Have to,
Yes, the entire 5 acres would need to be rezoned.
So what limits them from submitting for 3 more subdivisions
Nothing.
once we zone it? If we zone it? I'm just asking.
Once it would be rezoned, so if they were to come in a year or 2 with another plat that showed it cut into quarters instead of just this chunk out, you're saying? There wouldn't necessarily be anything to prohibit that.
Can we make a stipulation that it can't be done?
There is,
That's what I was gonna say.
No future
condition number
subdivision.
3.
Stuff in here.
Okay, so we can put that as a condition of the zoning, so it's very clear when it comes
Yes.
forward that we're not expecting to see in 6 months. Because I can understand staff's concern. This is a neighborhood that
Yeah,
doesn't
I
have
agree.
that precedent there.
Right.
And
Condition number 3 says no future subdivision shall be permitted of either proposed lot, period.
just somehow make sure that's clearly in the file when it comes forward again, and it's not just somebody looking at the zoning and thinking, oh, I can go subdivide that again.
I don't want that many neighbors.
I understand, but as you mentioned, the properties change hands, and this will go with this piece of property for the next 50 years, 100 years, however long we have zoning. Somebody is going to try it at some point.
Yeah, that's right. Sure. Any further discussion? I call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve it with staff recommendations.
Motion for approval, is there a second?
Staff denied.
No, staff's
Yeah.
got an
Yeah.
alternative to approve it,
Down at the bottom.
Was
that with no
more
future
subdivision
subdivision shall
part of
be
that?
permitted part.
So we have a motion to approve with the
Y'all caught me, I didn't read that.
staff recommendations. Questions? Discussion?
No,
Call for a second.
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 4-1. Thank you, sir. Item 7 is a public hearing for Fletcher Derek Seconder, request to rezone 6.215 of 18.31 acres from AR1 to AR2 to allow for a recombination of parcels located on Fletcher Lane in Morgan Circle. It's the 3rd district. Ms. Dunnigan.
The applicant is reconfiguring land from an estate division, making the lines a bit more clear. Because 2 of the parcels will not be 5 acres. They need to be rezoned to AR2. And it's going from 3 lots to 3 lots essentially. Staff recommends approval.
Discussion. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? Call for a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
May I have a motion to approve? Is there a second? Second, Mrs. Zipper. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Item 8, public hearing. Jesse Edwards requests a variance to waive the restriction that a private unpaved road may only serve 3 lots. This is the 3rd district. Ms. Dunnigan.
Yes, the applicant was before the planning board last month to rezone the rear portion of his parcel to create another home site. And that rezoning application has been postponed going to the board while this variance application can kind of catch up to it because Haddon Lake Road is a private unpaved road serving definitely more than 3 lots. Due to there are 23 lots just with frontage onto Haddon Lake Road, which is absolutely an unpaved private road. Due to just the sheer numbers, staff is recommending denial for this variance.
Chris, comments at this time?
Didn't we just hear this
Yes.
Last month.
last month?
Last month. But not this, not this. This is a variance. That was a rezoning, correct, Ms. Dunnigan?
Yeah.
Correct.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes, they should have
Son
gone,
Was trying to break the property up.
That's right. And
they,
he's-
they,
he's
sh-
still here.
yes. The rezoning and the variance should have gone together, so we're catching up.
Okay.
Is there anyone who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? Yes, sir. Would you come forward, please?
It takes me a while to get moving here.
You knew I'm gonna let you sit in
It's
your,
all downhill.
I'm gonna let you sit in your seat.
I was here for rezoning too, so I guess I'll just sort of repeat myself of what I said last time.
I mean, just, yes, sir, basically.
Basically, I've been living there on Haddon Lake Road, which is a private road. Our property runs to the center of the road for 39 years. When we first moved in, had a few people on the road. We asked the county for help. They denied us, didn't want anything to do with it. So now, myself and my neighbors have put a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of time into this road. But we got so much traffic on it right now, it's a tough job to keep it up. We do not need more traffic on that road. It's tough to keep up. We're steady battling it. That's one reason. I'm not for a variance or any kind of changing of how from 1 to 2 or anything like that. We're fighting that road continuously. Me and wife 39 years ago moved in the north part of Effingham to avoid the close living of subdivisions. That's not what we wanted. So that's why we moved out. And just like everyone's been saying tonight, once you start, it is over then. I mean, the future's rolling. So I'm against changing any variance or anything like that. And that, my tight living and the road is my reasons. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Hey, I'm Carol Sorrells. I'm married to Guy. I live next door to Jesse, and I like the country living. I don't want to divide up the lots and make them smaller. I like larger lots, and it is a private road. It's very busy down there. It's a dead-end private road. So when traffic's in and out all the time, and it's just, it gets in bad shape, the road does. So we wanted to try to keep it more country living instead of dividing it up in subdivisions.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wish to speak? Yes, sir.
My name is Marty Edwards, and I'm Jesse's father. And back in the day when our fathers and grandfathers handed down land, I mean, in our family, it was always gifted to the children. And the biggest thing I got against it is, you know, this isn't happening. I gifted the land to him, and, you know, if he's gonna get rid of it, you know, I'd appreciate it if he would gift it to his children. And, you know, once we start dividing lots, it's over. I mean, you know, we gotta have, you know, anybody down there can do it. And you can see by the picture, we have a lot of lots.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
All right.
Anyone else wish to speak?
So I'm Hampton Spradling. I live about 3 lots down. Of course, I know Jesse and Marty, the whole family. We know everybody in the neighborhood. You know, there's only like 20 dwellings in there, maybe 23 lots total. But yeah, I think everybody's already said it, but the big problem with granting the road variance is then it allows us the subdividing of all of us that have 6, 7 acres or more. And like I think Guy said, the road is beat to death right now between the FedEx trucks, the UPS trucks, and of course, every family comes and goes multiple times a day. It's really almost impossible to keep the road up now. And if we start subdividing lots and adding more families going from AR1 to AR2, I don't know where it would stop. You know, like you say, the next family turns a 20-acre hayfield into, you know, 40-house lot. So I'm against the whole idea of rezoning and the variance because I have lived in a subdivision. Nothing wrong with subdivisions. It's just more noise, more traffic, just more interactions with people. And that's why I think most of us moved to the country where we have everybody has at least 5 acres. I just not for changing the road variance, which is what we're here for today, I guess.
All right, thank you, Mr. Spradley. Anyone else wish to speak?
I'm Jesse Edwards, by the way. I was here last month.
Good evening.
As far as I know, the road variance, I'm sure y'all would have had to approve the variance for another home site down Haddon Lake Road every time they wanted to build one. So it wasn't a problem before, but now it is. Since I want to, you know, let my brother-in-law build a house behind my house, which he has no family. His parents died, I think 5 years ago, in a car wreck on I-16 on the way home from Georgia Southern game. So he has no family anymore, and he wants to be closer to us. Another thing is the guy that actually takes care of our road, I actually talked to him personally, and he said that he didn't have a problem with it just because he has a motor grader that goes up and down the road once a month, twice a month, you know, as needed to grade the road. And he said as long as he pulls, you know, he gets money from everybody. I think it's like $200 a year for dirt. Everybody usually just buys a load of dirt and, you know, pitches in for the road. They scrape the road, or he scrapes the road. Nobody else does anymore. Well, he just does now. But he does that, and he said as long as he's willing to do that, he doesn't have a problem with it, which, I mean, I talked to my brother-in-law, Josh, and he said he would be more than happy to, you know, put in whatever dollar amount he needed to help keep the road up, essentially. to me, I mean, and another thing is, like I said before in the other meeting, that, you know, we just want our family to grow up together. You know, he doesn't really have any family. I mean, he has a brother who lives in Savannah and a sister who lives in Statesboro. And, you know, he wants both of his kids to grow up with my kids, and they're 2 or 3 years apart in age. They're all little boys. I mean, all I'm trying to do is just bring family closer together. But obviously, nobody wants that. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Anyone else wish to speak? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Suzanne Edwards, and I'm Jesse's mother. And I concur with my husband, and I would like for it to go to his children, because that's what our family, Marty's family, has done. And with the 37 years that we've been there this year, I would like for it to stay that way. And also, my husband, who owns a tractor, has scraped that road many, many times, and just did it just a while back to get the bumps off. So he does spend a lot of time out there also. I wanted to concur for that. And we do pay him a lot more than $200 a year. We put a lot of dirt and a lot of work and hard work in that. But I do wish that he would just keep it for the kids.
Thank you, Ms. Edwards. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Josh Hagan. I'm trying to purchase the property from Jesse. Not to beat a dead horse, but as he said, my immediate family's not really a thing, so that's why we're trying to move out there to be closer to them. Like he said, we both have little boys that are the same age, and I'd love to grow out. I'd love for them to grow up with their family right there next to him, and he doesn't have a problem with it. And that's what I've always wanted to do. That was the plan from the get-go. And as for the road and the traffic, I know there's as you said, 23 lots. That is a decent amount, but the $200 is not a problem a month. Even if it is more than 200, that's not a problem. I'm more than capable of getting out there and helping pave or not pave it, but grade it, whatever I need to do to help, I'm more than happy to do. So that's pretty much all I have to say on that.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? All right. I'll close public comment. Any discussion from the board?
Sure, I've been talking all night. So a variance, I look at it and I look at the road and understand that there's 23 lots off of it, so it's well beyond what the typical standard is. And I want to say this because I hope it gets put in the minutes next week or next month, but I recognize there'll probably be a request for a variance like this on this very same road coming forward at some point in the future because there's other big lots there. But part of what we're supposed to look at a variance is the shape of the property. Is the property have a shape that justifies the variance? In other words, we need to help it. Or is it already of a size that it's not, the variance is only going to further a situation? So in my opinion, based off of the zoning aspect of it, I don't see a justification for the variance on this piece.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. And I think I talked second most, but when I look at this, and I hear both sides. I hear if we do this, then that's going to open the door for this to be done more. But if we don't do this, then that closes the door for anybody else to do it either, in my opinion, regardless of the size.
But that's not. I don't believe that we set a precedent. Each individual parcel is unique, right? And there is there's factors that we consider for each request.
If the road is the thing, then I believe you're setting a precedent and saying we're not going to allow more lots on this road of any shape, or form.
And I feel the same way unless we put a stipulation in there that no other subdivisions or development can occur unless the property owners deed the road to the county agrees to take it and to bring it up to county standards, and it becomes a county road. Because if you got 23 lots there and all 23 people does that one time, that's 46 lots. And if they do it one more time, you can do the math. So,
I mean, these are tough. I don't like it because anytime I see this and I see private road, I'm like, why does the county have any authority whatsoever to tell them what they can and can't do on the road? It's private. But the rules of this county, we have to say what happens. And the only way I know to judge it, since it's private, is by the will of the majority out there. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But it's, you know, there's no clear-cut answers for how to judge these private easements. Any further discussion? All right, I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to deny it, but I would like to add the stipulation that in that denial, no further subdivision of the property can occur as long as it's a private road. It would have to become a county road to do any future development or subdivision
On any parcel?
located on that road.
Gotcha.
As a condition of denial or as a condition of approval?
No, as a condition of denial.
Okay.
Because I don't see how we can't deny this and approve the next one. And there's gonna be a next one if we approve this one, and a next one after that. And so as long as the issue is it's a private road, the only answer I see to developing that parcel further, that whole parcel, is it become a county road. And if the owners don't want it to be a county road, then it'll stay a private road and there'll be no future development, no future subdivision on that road. If you own a piece of property, of course, you can put your house on it, but if you don't, I mean, if you own it and you want to subdivide it, then you couldn't no longer do that unless it become a county road.
So we have a motion to deny this variance request and stipulation. Is there any discussion, questions? All right, is there a second? Second, Ms. Smith. All those in favor of denial?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. And once again, remember, this is a recommendation to the county commissioners. This is not concrete by any means. But thank you to everyone. Yes, sir.
I was just going to ask, on the next step, will this go in front of our commissioners now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. This will move forward to the commissioners.
It's going to move forward next month to the commission.
Do we know that date?
February 7th.
February 7th? February 7th,
Okay,
6 o'clock. Here. Item number 9 is a public hearing for Julia M. Mingledorf and George Thomas Mingledorf, request to rezone 5 acres from AR1 to AR2 for the allow for the creation of a home site located at 154 Cherokee Hills Road, 3rd District.
This application is pretty similar to the last large lot major subdivision application we saw. Cherokee Hills Estates is a major subdivision with consistently sized lots in it. The applicant is wishing to subdivide to create another home site. And due to the fact that it is within a major subdivision where no other parcels have previously been split, the fact that they are able to have a second dwelling for an immediate family member under the current zoning, and due to the fact that it will greatly alter the shape of the subdivision, staff is recommending denial.
All right, thank you, Ms. Dunnigan.
Katie, are all those lots a minimum of 5 acres? They're all AR1, so they all would have to be at least 5 acres, correct?
Yes, sir. In Cherokee Hills ends right about, it's quite small. So they're all consistent in shape.
It's another mini farm?
Yes.
Does it access though through that other neighborhood that's smaller lots?
Yes.
What's that zoning?
Also AR1, non-conforming.
Non-conforming AR1.
Mhm.
Okay, so there is smaller-ish lots somewhere close by, but not in this particular. This is like a phase of that neighborhood, or is it completely different?
On King Boulevard, I could not say, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But there are some smaller lots. The lots tend to get smaller as you exit the subdivision, and there are some nearby surrounding AR2 properties as well.
And did they submit a preliminary plat? Did I see that? Was there already our sketch of what?
Yes. And I apologize, I don't believe that made it into the binder.
Okay. I mean, what are the two parcel sizes? Can you see that?
2.76 and 2.24, so almost in half.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, on the map, I mean, looks like it's already been done one lot over. Not that map, not that map. The overhead that you put in our book, I mean, you can see that one lot over, they've already been divided in half. Is there anyone who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? All right, discussion from the board. Somebody make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Mrs. Zipper, all those in favor of approval? Opposed, motion carried by all. 10 and 11 are no-goes, correct?
That is correct.
Is there any other business to come before this board tonight? Meeting adjourned. Wasn't near as easy as I thought it was.